The Collin County Commissioner's Court was called to order this morning by Judge W.G. Proctor, announcing the date was January 14th, 1944. That set the tone for a meeting that adjourned abruptly when Charles Cook, managing editor of the local newspaper, pointed out the session was illegal because proper notice had not been given. However, during the aborted meeting, Commissioner Raymond Jenkins was asked again by two Collin County women for an audit of county expenses because citizens in his precinct suspect road and bridge funds are not being spent for that purpose. Commissioner Jenkins feels the whole deal is just a political move.
Well, of course, I ain't going to call no names, but that's what it is. It's all this stuff got started back in about a month and a half ago, and it's all a political move is what it is because this year's election time.
Do you think it's instigated by these two women who have political aspirations themselves?
Well, I could tell you a whole lot, but I don't want to say anything.
Well, why haven't those roads and bridges been fixed in Precinct 2?
They're not in as bad a shape as they let on like they are.
Well, they seem to be fairly rutted and said cars have a difficulty in driving over them.
Well, if they drive like they ought to, they don't have no difficulty. Some of them gets out there and drive 60 to 70 miles road on those county roads and as fast as they do on the highway. They wasn't made for that purpose.
Helen Lawson, tax assessor collector, is not too happy with Commissioner Jenkins either, especially when he attempted to reevaluate the property of all citizens who wrote unfavorable letters about him to the editor of the local newspaper.
Our commissioner, Mr. Jenkins, in precinct number 2, had sent my men, the appraisers, out. I had been at the hospital. My mother had been seriously ill, and I had been at the hospital. I knew nothing at all about it. And, of course, they were stopped the minute I got back, and the property was not reassessed.
Why did he do that?
Trying to get back at them's the only thing I know.
Mrs. Chet Copman and Mrs. H.A. Dillingham, who call themselves the Martha Mitchells of Collin County, are leading the battle for the residents of Ticky Creek Park, Lavon Shores, and Shamrock to get their roads fixed or to find out why not. They gave us an impressive tour of those roads, which are traveled cautiously and unwillingly, they told us, by school bus drivers, postmen, and some 200 residents. They assured me their crusade was not political.
There have been a number of people that has tried, and they have been rebuffed. They have not come back with any results or satisfaction. When we said that we were going to do it, we intended to do it, and we're going to do it. We will accomplish our endeavor, and that we are representing the taxpayers of Collin County, and we will get this outside audit so the people will be able to know how and where the money is being spent.
Meanwhile, the court had promised an answer to the audit request by 2:30 this afternoon, but they decided since the morning meeting was illegal, the request was not on record, and the whole procedure would have to be repeated next week, much to the consternation of the interested citizens. I asked Acting Judge Commissioner Carl Marion whether or not he was opposed to an audit. He referred me to the auditor, who referred me back to the commissioners. In an attempt to get to the bottom of this situation, I found the auditor's receipts in a hole under the floor of the Criminal Investigators Department in the courthouse. Judy Hanna, Channel 8 News.